happening already? No, too early for that. Hold on, we haven't seen any shitcoins just yet. Just a little bit of Bitcoin, which, well, sometimes is kind of a bit of a shitcoin as it does prepare once again to kind of fill out this bottom range. I see a lot of interesting comments here to start off the day. Fatty Yoshi says 200-week simple moving average is programmed. Perhaps it is. I mean, you could say that Bitcoin's pretty much already tested that, but hey, if you want to see another, wick to the downside, I mean, I think still wicks into the $50,000 territory is completely reasonable to be expecting at some point in the next month or two. But, do I expect things much lower than that on a closing basis? No, for all of the reasons that we've gone over many times in previous videos. What's up, Nimbo? I see you over there, man. Fuck yeah, made it to a live stream. Hell yeah. Sam Frangozi, good morning to you, man. Always good to see you. Dad Rackus, feeling crispy. Addy Raj, cars, conspiracies, and crypto. Backwards though. That's the dyslexia talking. One positive dude filling up the bottom. Yes, we're filling up the bottom. Fill me up. Fucking link up that gas tube to my Angus and fill me up some buttercups so that we flow through the top. That's exactly what we want, man. Crown watches Tino. Wait, what? What are you talking about, man? I'm the one who started well. That was back in 2018. Go fuck yourself. Just kidding, but go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding, man. What's up, Sequoia? Good morning to you, man. I'm still standing. Colo, send you a good vibes. Hell yeah, man. Haro. Sarah Krong says, may not. Good morning to you, man. Peppy, sorry, not Preppy, but Peppy. Good morning to you, man. Skate, Steve. Who else we got? Maximus, man. We have a very interesting comment from someone who clearly does not understand what the fuck I've been saying for the past 2 weeks, from Roth Mastrom, who says, bruh, God, oh my God. If you really want to piss me off, or just, it's not piss me off, it's make me think that you're a complete lobotomized moron who is incapable of any real original thoughts. Start off your sentence with, bruh says, fuckface says, said bottom is in, but now we're sweeping the lows. Oh my God, you are absolutely fucking retarded. How many fucking times have I said this over the past couple weeks? When the low is in, Bitcoin is likely to retest, probably even put in wicks below. But on a closing basis, it's pretty much there. Very likely there. Can I be wrong on this? Yes, absolutely. But even if Bitcoin does have the low in, it is 100% to be expected Bitcoin will retest around the fucking lows. As I've said a million goddamn times, even if the low is in, I do not expect a literal moonshot exactly to the upside from here. Holy fuck! Some people are beyond reprieve, unfortunately. It is what it is, though. Anyways, for everyone else who's not lobotomized, good morning to you, and welcome back. Sorry, man. Sorry, I have to make an example out of someone, okay? It makes it fun. I don't really mean any ill intent by that, but it is fun, nonetheless. What's up, Love Ashton? Good morning to you, man. Big Boy George, Craden C. Indeed, man, indeed. It is what it is. Style, let's go. Holy shit, man. It's been a long time. Hopefully all is well, man. It's really good to see the OGs here, though. Zonkard as well. Bellaroo. We have a little Rosie Roo over here. We had a good night last night, actually. We took Elsa and Elsa's sister to their first professional basketball game. Actually, pretty good. I wasn't expecting that much, because basketball usually, it's pretty boring during the regular season, but it was actually a really good presentation. I quite enjoyed it. Anyways, yeah, getting on to markets here. Let's actually start it off with traditional markets. Traditional markets, I do think, are actually looking the strongest out of anything right now, namely the industrial sector, which I believe is still continuing to trudge on to new all-time highs. Let's go check it out right here. Yeah, there's your weekly for Dow Jones. So Dow Jones is the one that's leading the market right now, and the small caps as well. This one made new all-time highs, yesterday, and actually tried it again this morning, but, likely to continue on with this overall rally. It's just a beautiful uptrend. There's really not much crazy, announced to be done something like this. Just, hey, it's bullish until it's not, and I suspect that you're going to see, $53,000, whatever, before the next sort of major high. Yes, this rally is crazy. Yes, this rally is vertical, but, it can go on for a little while longer. And again, when you look at the monthly here and you're looking at the long term, it's just super simple. Whenever you are trending above that red 5 EMA on the monthly, just let it trend. That's trending motion right there. You can see that this thing loves, and especially traditional market assets love to use that as a basing point for those just general bull moves to the upside. It's beautiful. Don't need to overthink things like that. And ultimately, this thing is bullish, especially as long as you're above last week's low. In fact, that is the price action pivot here at 48,500. Basically, as long as Dow Jones above there, it is bullish. If it comes back down below there, okay, I can be expecting a bigger correction, perhaps all the way down to $46,000. But even then, that's still going to be a higher low on the higher term timeframes. Do I think that that's what's going to happen here? Probably not. No, I think that this one still has new highs to go. And then you see SPY follow, or I guess actually probably it's more going to be like the small caps here follow, as they're in the next strongest position. You can see consolidating on basically new all-time highs. And then, of course, after that, you got SPY, similar thing, consolidating at all-time highs. Again, last week's low, really good reversal point right there, meaning that as long as you're above last week's low, it's bullish. Just let it do its thing. It might not be going zooming to new all-time highs today, but just generally speaking, it's going to continue with this uptrend very likely. If it does take out last week's low, okay, yeah, let's look for a correction down to like 6,500, maybe lower. But ultimately, this one continuing to keep it up high is a good sign. And the NASDAQ is obviously the weakest of the bunch of the big indices. But even this one, same thing here. It's like, if the other ones continue, is this one not going to continue? I mean, very unlikely in this case. This one was leading the general markets for the past like 3-4 years. So yeah, it's getting rotated down now. It's kind of a sign of the times and sign of the overall health of this rally that, probably in terms of time, it doesn't have that much more, perhaps maybe another, I think a year at most, probably less than that. That's just my personal opinion. As always, though, I want to see the actual signals for when a real high is in, and we don't have it necessarily just yet. For NASDAQ though, that last week's low at 24,239 is a big pivot. Below there, this one actually will reverse pretty nastily on a month, perhaps all the way down to like 22,500-ish region. But again, if the other ones don't break down, I don't think that this one's going to break down either. And personally speaking, I don't think any of them are breaking down. If anything's going to be breaking down, probably Bitcoin, if anything, retesting these lows, filling out the bottom end of this, overall range. And in the short term, this is droopy, this is ugly, this, very likely will kind of sweep around these lows. And again, long term, for, if I'm putting on my long-term investor hat, I'm happy to buy in the low $60,000 territory. I've already bought a little bit there. I'll probably nibble a little bit more when it comes back down. And I will especially wait for, if we get like a 55 or a low 50 take on like a stray wick from some crazy event or announcement or whatever. That's kind of what I'd like to see in an ideal stance. But I think that we're just going to be snailing around here, not really doing all that much. It's going to be a consolidation range likely emerging for the next few months as volatility once again cools off. I mean, shit, Bitcoin just had the biggest moves. I mean, some of the biggest moves in its weekly history ever, by the way, over the past 1, 2, 3 weeks. You know how Bitcoin goes. It does 2 to 3 weeks of trending movement and then followed by like 2 to 3 months of consolidation. So, we're probably going to fill out this bottom range here, probably going to officially retest at some point that white 200 simple on the weekly time frame. And at some point, test the top side of the range, which is going to be about 76 to 75,000 bucks. I don't think that we're going to see anything really above or below that significantly on a closing basis for the next, month or two, I would say at minimum. I think that we're entering into yet another boring period, which is kind of sad because even the last 3 weeks where things actually were moving and shit was going crazy, especially compared to what we were experiencing throughout the end of Q4. But realistically, I can tell you from my YouTube analytics, very few people more people are just continuing to leave this market. They're just not interested. And fair enough. I mean, that is kind of a good sign if you are looking for a macro capitulation, obviously. At the same time, it kind of just speaks to the lack of interest in this asset. It's no longer the cool, sexy thing like it once was, especially in 2021. Basically, I can tell you from my YouTube analytics, around about 2023, really when Bitcoin began that bull run that lasted 3 years, all my YouTube analytics been straight down, just fucking down. So, what does that tell me? It tells me that people are just leaving. And I think a big event, honestly, was that October dump. That seemed to really be the dagger or the nail in the coffin for many of the people in this market. I mean, many of the people in this market were what? They were fishing for shit coins. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And unfortunately, those people, I think, have left and they're continuing to leave and they ain't coming back, or at least not anytime soon. We'd have to see like a true, real bull run for Bitcoin to bring those people back. But even then, I mean, shit, from 2023 to, 2025 top, for the most part, people were becoming less and less interested in Bitcoin over time rather than more and more, just from like a general YouTube analytic perspective. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But again, I want to bring up something that I think is super, super compelling here, just as like kind of an alternative look for Bitcoin. And that is, again, the Bitcoin versus gold ratio. Many people are aware of the yearly or the 365-day timing between high and low for Bitcoin. When Bitcoin puts in a macro top, takes about 365 days to find that next macro low. And that is very much true versus the US dollar, and also true versus the gold pairing as well. We can see this example right here from 2021, 2022 took 396 days to find that low. From 2018 took about 367 days. From 2014 took about 395 days. So all of these are within the same context of each other. And what's interesting about this is that Bitcoin versus gold didn't put in the high in October of 2025. It put in the high in December of 2024. And since then, it's been about we're working on 427 days at the end of this month. So my personal opinion is that Bitcoin's, in terms of timing, is a lot closer to a low than it's not. I don't, again, expect anything significant to the upside anytime soon, but, Bitcoin kind of trading sideways around these lows, maybe taking a few spikes lower, on a few stray wicks, I think makes a lot of sense. I think it's going to get boring for the next couple months. And if that happens, that would be my next sort of major thing that I'm looking for to, really lean into this idea that Bitcoin is putting in a low here. But again, it's not going to happen all in 1 month. I mean, for fuck's sake, do you think this just reverses from right here and it's like straight up to fucking, these levels that we saw from the past few months? No, it's going to spend at least a few months on the lows, probably even more than that. I mean, shit. On all of these previous lows, you can see 1, 2, 3 bars on this low, 1, 2, 3 bars on this low. I mean, you could even argue 4, honestly. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months on the fucking lows. It's a long time, 10 months basically sideways AF after losing significant amount of values. And then, of course, the one before that over here about 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. And even then, it was followed by very, very boring periods as Bitcoin did flip back on and transition the old trans market from bear to bull. So yeah, even if this thing is turning around, it's going to take some time, man. It's going to take a lot of time, I suspect. Gold, on the other hand, I do look at as stalling here, but ultimately it does look like it wants to try a slight move higher. I think that I will get my $5,200 target hit at some point. If I'm right on that, I'm right on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, whatever. I have no skin in the game on this one, so I really don't care that much. But, I do comment on it because, people are interested in that. Not so much in digital gold. And this, between this and stocks, that's where the interest is, really. So, I'm still looking at something like this on the LARP lines, maybe a little bit higher at 5,200. I would be expecting this rally to continue like a little bit more, just one more stab higher. But these sort of hesitation moves at these regions are generally not a good sign for the overall health of the rally. So I do think that this is still a trap right here. The question to me is, has it already put in a high this morning? That would look a little bit too weak to me at 51.20 basically. I still think that this thing could get somewhere between like 5,200, maybe as much as 5,300. But yeah, that's kind of where I'd be looking for this rally to get arrested. I'm still looking at this as likely a macro high in the making, but like I said, I can always be wrong, and I guess time will tell in this case. Still a long month left to go, and so far the monthly is still above that red 5 VMA, so maybe you should take my own fucking advice and say, hey, as long as you're above there, can't really be too bearish. But one thing before the next, obviously you're going to see the weekly reverse before the monthly, and hey, if the monthly does finish out below 45.50, yeah, I'm happy to really lean into major macro top call. Until then, I still think it's very likely. It's just not necessarily fully confirmed on the monthly, and even the weekly doesn't necessarily have a reversal here just yet. It's just the daily that does. So as always, the market shall test the patience of everyone. I mean, that's the real fucking way to cause capitulation and confusion and a lot of anxiety, honestly. It's just by eating up time, man. People hate going sideways more so than going down, because at least when it's going down, it's kind of exciting, like it's emotionally stimulating. When you're emotionally stimulated, you're more likely to pay attention. But when you're going sideways, it's just capitulation by boredom, really. Anyways, Immaculate Holes, great name, very nice name. It says, speaking of timing, going by previous cycles, as the current one has actually been pretty much on track, we should see a potential macro low around October, November. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. It really depends how you measure that. Are you gonna go off of the Bitcoin versus dollar chart? You're 100% right. That cycle has been on time thus far. I'm just bringing up the gold pairing because it confirms my views. It's confirmation bias. That is called confirmation bias. But it also does hold true as well. So we'll see. We'll see. To me, the Bitcoin versus gold ratio makes a lot of sense, just because gold is a gold is gold. It's a commodity, whereas the dollar, there's a lot of, I don't want to say manipulations, but there's been a lot of fundamental changes actually with the dollar, with the amount of supply that is out there. So, technically, at least in my opinion, gold kind of is a more steady chart in that way. And it actually plays very technically as well. I mean, shit, you can look at the gold versus Bitcoin chart right here, and I don't know, man. Does that chart look a little bit more technical than the US dollar chart? I would say so. But perhaps that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe we get one more stab lower here officially to test that green 55 EMA, but whether it's already bottomed, whether it goes, another, 10% lower, I don't think it's really that big of a deal, personally speaking. But yeah, does that equate to Bitcoin getting a wick down to the low 50s? Hopefully, because I'll have some bids there, but that's just my plans. And hey, you don't have to do what the fuck I'm doing, of course. The Peter Schiff to Michael Saylor ratio. Yeah, man. It is what it is, man. Yeah, man. Michael Saylor, I did hear recently. Where's your message? Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay. I will pin Elsa's message. Yeah, I heard Michael Saylor recently get on, and he was saying what? He was saying, yeah, I did call you out, or who was it? Roth? Yeah, because you said something fucking retarded, man. Of course I'm going to call that out. Like, that's the point of a live stream. Call out stupidness. But look, I'm not calling you stupid. It's just a stupid comment. And perhaps we're just misunderstanding each other. Perhaps it's my own fault for not expressing myself and my ideas correctly. Although it does seem like most people understand it, and you don't. I don't know. I don't know where to draw the line, man. Look, I'm just joking, man. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. Yeah, where was I in that explanation? Yeah, what I was hearing Michael Saylor say, he was, he's still bull talking pretty hard, as is Tom Lee. I guess, they kind of have painted themselves into a corner where they kind of have to, I guess. But yeah. Anyways. James King wants to look at the Balkan dwarf. Yeah, it's been a long time since I looked at this thing. Kikek, I'm sure it's in the gutter right now. Let's see. What do you know? What do you know? Deep inside that shitcoin drawer of the gutter. Can I what? Actually, last time I got copy strike, so no, I can't. I remember during the meme season, we actually did call this one out here. It's like the one time I ever went out and said, these memes look kind of interesting. But I think it was quite clear as topping over here, and ever since then, I don't know, down like another 99% or something. Yeah, 92.25%. Amazing. Hey, thank you for that, Johnny Reinhardt. He says, hey, Crown, been following for a few years. Hell yeah, man. Love the work you put out. Thanks, man. Any targets for a relief rally, or have we done that with the $7,600 candle from the lows? Did Bitcoin get all the way up to 76? Hold on, let me validate that statement. It did not get up all the way to 76, man. It got up to like 72. I think that Bitcoin probably at some point does have a wick up to like 75, 76. Hold on, my chat just got fucking nuked. Just let me refresh everything really quickly. Yeah, I do think that Bitcoin at some point will test that, but for right now, no, it wants to test a little bit of downside. Again, I truly expect this next phase of the market to take like a month or two, probably at minimum. I mean, usually Bitcoin par for the course is like 2 to 3 months of consolidation after a big trending move. So yeah, next move probably down. Maybe it puts in a wick lower, making a slightly new low. Maybe it's slightly above the current low, but somewhere around there. I just don't think that we're deviating too much from that low. That's my main point here. Any thoughts on hype? I'm in a long. Good luck with that. Godspeed. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Look, being too much of an asshole today. Look, man, I'm actually curious to see. Obviously, we should get to the super chats next, but just out of curiosity, look, man, we've been bearish on this thing for a while. We've been bearish since like it broke $40 way back on over here, man, or $45 actually. That was the lower high. No, man, I would not fucking long. Like, God, oh my fucking, like, why do you do this? Traditional crypto fucking strategy. Does it look like shit? I'm buying. No. This thing wants to go down, man. That is the fucking lower high right there. That is like, it's such a fucking lower high. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah, long into the fucking moon and beyond, right? Well, all you need to do is just invert the chart and all good. Okay, let me get over to the super chats. I'm talking too much shit today. We got Pizza first. He's looking at XRP 4-hour daily and weekly. Oh shit, we're still going over the Kryptons here. Similar to Bitcoin, I think you probably fish out these lows a few more times. I don't think that you're doing anything significant lower than them anytime soon, and I don't think that you're going to be trading back above like 170 anytime soon. I just expect a range here to evolve for like the next few months, something like this, or here and here, and that's kind of like the play zone. Probably next test is to the downside. It's probably going to bounce again from like 115 to 110 or 105, whatever it is, and then try an upside move, maybe back to like 150, 160, and then continue sideways for a while. I just don't think it's doing anything significant right now. Your quarterly just bounced off of the 21 EMA. You know, you're going to spend some time bouncing from there, even if you're super bearish. And of course, if you are bullish, I mean, that's kind of where you do expect lows in this thing. That's where this thing has found the lows for the last 6-7 years since 2019. So, you know, it's not a bad place. And also coming off the monthly 55 EMA. So, you know, you're very likely done going down and making new lows. On a closing basis, you're probably going to, again, fill out this range here for a while and be boring as hell, just like Bitcoin, honestly, man. Anyways, what else we got over here? All right. Yes, we have another 40,000 caller for Roth. He thinks he's a fucking genius, and of course, he's definitely going to get his price. Yes, continue to do that, man. I'm sure I'm going to really be hurt when it gets down to 40,000 bucks. It's really going to destroy my day. Oh, God. Oh, no. Titanium Wing says long-term outlook on Forex pair PYG. What is this? PYG USD. Oh, no, that's not a... Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, PYG USD. There we go. Paraguayan Guarani. I don't know. Pretty good move here. I think it probably does try a little bit higher, maybe around... It might officially retest this high here, but I think it goes at least a little bit higher. It could get all the way to that high, but at least a little bit higher, somewhere between, let's say, this area 150 and this area, which is 156. Somewhere in there, and that'll be expecting a pullback. But yeah, I do think it continues on with this rally a little bit more at least. Not really worth looking at technical indicators here just because it's pretty bizarre, to be honest, man. But yeah, I think it goes a little bit higher. And then probably finds a high right here. The weekly is very tired, though, I would say. But one more move at least, and then come back to it. Anyways, we have Straight Path next, says GM, sir. Is there any hope for iron? I mean, there's always hope. It just might be very low probability, right? Listening for 6 years and doesn't understand the most simple of fucking analyses. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Should we talk more shit? It's fun, isn't it? It makes it fun, right? Is there any hope for 50? Look, I do think that you will get back above 50 at some point, but for right now, it wants to fill in the lower block here. It wants to come back down, maybe back down officially to like 35 and then bounce, but I just don't think you're breaking down. I think that you will get 50 bucks. Just, you know, try a little bit of downside first, maybe all the way down to 37 or whatever, and then bounce up, and that you probably get your $50 target. In fact, you probably don't even just get 50 bucks. You probably test the top side of this range at 58, 59 region. But that's more of a long-term thing. You know, maybe it's a little bit too long-term for you. I don't know exactly what time frame you're going off of. If you're looking at a daily and a weekly, again, downside first and then bounce. I do think that you get that $50 tick though. But just be expecting some boringness here, man. It's been straight up since when? Since, Jesus Christ, man, April 2025, went up 1,366%. You know, it's going to take time to consolidate this move, man. It's going to take a lot of time to consolidate this move. So I do think that you get your target. I just don't, I think it's going to require a lot of patience though. That's my main point there. Erica Maker, very nice name. GM to you as well. Your long-term investing and trading psychology videos have been game changer for me. Hell yeah. I'm curious if you just mean the ones on YouTube or if you mean the ones in the Crown Trading Bible. The long-term investing playlist on YouTube, I really love getting into. Trading psychology, of course, as well, but that's expanded a lot more on in the Crown Trading Bible. But yeah, long-term investing is, you know, I'm going through the learning process right now myself as well. So it makes it a lot more interesting to me because, you know, when I go and make one of those presentations, I really have to study it. So it's really helped me actually get a better understanding, of what it means to be a long-term investor as well. So yeah, I'm glad that you enjoy it. I got more videos on that coming out a little bit later, but right now I'm actually working on a free TA 101 playlist. What I really want to do with this TA 101 playlist is, and I'm almost done. I literally only have like a couple more videos, I think maybe 3 at most, but is I'm going to have the videos again, this is all free. And then there'll be like quizzes that go alongside of it so that you can actually test your knowledge and figure out like, do I understand this shit or not? And if you don't, then you can just redo it and all good. But yeah, really excited for that. Anyways, you're looking at AFL. Oh my God. I haven't heard about AFLAC since I was like 10. Remember those commercials with the duck? This is bullish. This is good. It's really, really good. Probably breaking out this week or next week. Last week you got the official breakout. This is a retest right here. I'm bullish on this thing as long as you're above last week's low at 110.25. It's good. It's really, really good, man. What's up, Peter? Good to see you, man. Good to fucking see you. Yeah, man, we take care of the super chats. First, obviously, we do have limited time here, so we are going to prioritize people who submit super chat requests first, and then we'll go over the regular comments once that's done. But yeah, this thing I think is poised for higher. I think if you're looking at the monthly here, you're probably going to see this thing get up somewhere around like 130 to 140. I think it's quite good. Again, I could change my mind if it comes back down below last week's low, but until then, yeah, bullish, man. Very, very bullish. Anyways, Derek Dombrowski, Mr. Dombrowski, been watching almost daily for years. You have saved me from myself many times and appreciate the transition to stocks. Yeah, the transition to stocks has been very much welcomed. It's not just me though. It's also the community, which is really cool to see. Like the community is growing. I feel like I'm growing as well. It's just a natural evolution, right? I mean, Bitcoin and crypto is just it's not that cool anymore. Yeah, at some point in the future, maybe it becomes cool again. It's very possible, but yeah, stocks are the things right now. Anyways, you're looking at DNN. Okay, DNN. Denison Mines. Okay, so some sort of a mining stock. Looks like we've looked at it before. And yes, okay, so it's back around the highs from 2011. I do think that you will try a real breakout from these highs, but kind of as the LARP lines are anticipating, I think you're going to test into like 430 a couple more times perhaps, but it's going to consolidate here for a while. Again, very beautiful move from $1 all the way up to $4, fucking tremendous move. Just take some time to consolidate. Probably does try and move higher above that boundary. And then, and then you probably got a big markup to like $6, $6.5, maybe even things get really crazy like $8. But, one thing before the next, obviously, let us spend some time around here. I think next move will probably retest in this region. I just know it's going to break out on the next try there. Just my opinion, man. Anyways, but I actually do think it has a real chance to push through. I want to be very clear about that. Just not on this next move, perhaps. These cold brews are great. I don't know what the fuck I was doing before. Anyways, Osanimet. Thanks for the analysis, sir. All good, man. Thank you. And thank you for that just nice and positive message, man. All the best to you, sir. Nishant Abraham. It's been a while, man. I feel like it's been a while. Hey, man, been away for a while. Indeed. We've missed you, man. Thanks. Your hair looks great. It only took 2 hair transplants and a shit ton of finasteride. All good, though. God. Those fucking hair transplants really do suck. What did you do? I had 2 hair transplants, man. That's what I did. Hind Zinc Daily. Is that a ticker? Yeah, honestly, I take the finasteride and I really don't think it even works. Or I don't know, maybe I'd be worse if I didn't take it, but I don't think it, in my case, I don't think it's working that well. So overall, I like this one. I'm just not, okay. Overall, I like this one, and I actually do think that you have your next higher low in here at 550. If I'm wrong, you'll know because it just goes below 550, and at that point, this whole analysis falls apart, and you probably see this thing make its way down to like 450 or maybe even $400. But for right now, I'd kind of treat this one as a steady higher low, and well, I mean, I guess continuation of new highs from here would be the name of the game if that's the case. Let's see what a daily looks like. Daily has hidden bullish evidence on that last higher low. Yeah, I'd give it a chance to try for a real breakout here. Like I said, if it does take out, what was it? The January low or last week's low? Yeah, last week's low, 550. Then I would be looking for a range move back down to the bottom side here. That's fine though. I would actually still look at that as probably a good place for a consolidation, but I think you have a real chance to try an upside move from here. Yeah, other than that, I'm not seeing anything that's super, super obvious with this thing. Long term, I do like it though. So whether it breaks out from here, whether it comes down to, like I said, 450 or even $400, I think that would be an opportunity. So yeah, take it as you will, sir. Anyways, let's see what else we have. Steven Schickman, there he is. It's been a while. Zeta. All right, what's Zeta doing? We've seen this one a million times now. I still think it's doing the same thing as before. I think you got a downside range move here. I think you're going to test around $13.50 and probably bounce there. I don't think it's going to break down below there. I think these LARP lines are going to be somewhat correct. You know, you come down here and then bounce and go sideways for a while and maybe try another upside move. But yeah, next move is very likely to the downside to fill out that range, 1350 or close to it at least. Something like that, man. If we go down to the daily, yeah, short term wants some downside. That's all. But I don't think it's like a critical breakdown or anything like that just yet. What's up, Mr. Van Duysen? Good to see you, man. I need my hair done. I want to feel whole again. I want it back to Creighton. Yeah, man, I know the feeling. It really does suck when it's starting to leave. You're like, oh shit, I'm actually old now. Not only is my hair leaving, but the ones that I still have are like gray. They're getting more and more gray by the day. You can't really tell on video, but it is like truly almost fully gray. Kind of crazy, man. Leffy says, hey, Mr. Crown. Hello, Miss Muradova. I want your permission to short zero. You've actually been having some damn good fucking shorts recently. How did that hype short go? I believe we hit our target there before taking it. I'm curious if you actually took it. I mean, I don't trade these things, so I don't fucking take it, but kind of a tough one here. This one seems like it's rallying out of nowhere. Okay, technically, you should be looking for a lower high at around 230. It's a little bit above there right now. The problem is that if I'm wrong on that, it's a real reversal, and this thing's gonna like shoot up to fucking, you know, $3.5, maybe even $4. So that's a lot of risk if I'm wrong. It wouldn't be my favorite one to short, honestly. If you're gonna short right here, where do you manage risk? It would be at $3, and that's a big percentage move. I personally wouldn't like that. I don't like that setup. And also, I'm not even that confident that it's going to revert. It's going to top out right here. But that is what you technically are supposed to expect on that test of the 55 EMA. But a second test after testing it, you know, just a couple weeks ago, it's more and more likely to break. So it wouldn't be my favorite short. I think that you probably have better opportunities. I know you've been looking at Bcash. I know you've been looking at Hype. Hopefully you took the Hype one. That was a pretty awesome one. Bcash, also a pretty awesome one as well, as was Litecoin, but I think that was someone else for Litecoin. Yeah, I wouldn't want to short the ones that are rallied. I want to short the ones that are already weak. They're the ones that are going to fall apart more. But, you know, if Bitcoin holds this range here, it's like, are alts going to be an amazing short? You know, I think you might I think you might be trying to squeeze water from rocks at that point. It's like the big moves have already happened. While I do think this one is going to stab a little bit lower, you know, they probably do lose a little bit. It's a harder position. It's not as easy as it was a few weeks ago. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. McLaren F says, good morning. Your thoughts on Lunar? Yeah, so this one's been, full disclosure, I do own this one. This one's been bouncing around pretty crazily. It came down to our $15 target, bounced perfectly there. I don't really have much to add on to it right now. I do think that this one is, I'm still overall bullish on this one as long as it holds above last week's low. It's a very obvious pivot now at $15. Below $15, I do capitulate on my position, same as before. I will be in a slight profit there. It'll be pretty minimal, to be honest, but it'll be a slight profit, I guess. And I'd prepare for a move down to like, I don't know, 11, $12. But for right now, look, I'm still holding. I'll put it that way. I think it's going to fill out this range a little bit more, around 16, $17, and then maybe try an upside move. But like I said, if it loses last week's low, I'm capitulating immediately off that, and I'd be looking for a move like $11 or something like this. But yeah, as far as the higher term timeframes, I'm still seeing the same things as I was seeing before, so I don't have any major issues with it as it stands. My only major issue would be if it loses last week's low, very specifically. That is where the axe is on this one. Trying to build an AR-15, so confusing. It's actually super easy if you just buy complete uppers and complete lowers. It's such a fucking scam, I've realized as I do a little bit of research. If you buy a complete upper and a complete lower for an AR-15, it will be like 20 to 30% less than if you bought it fully completed to begin with. But maybe you're actually just literally trying to build it like part by part by part, in which case that's going to be a little more difficult. That's outside of my expertise. That's outside of my wheelhouse. But yeah, man, I finally got almost every inch in different sizes of an AR-15. I'm very happy about that collection. Very happy about that collection. 16, 14 and a half, 12 and a half, 11 and a half, 10.3, maybe even an 8 as well. Yes, indeed. Every inch matters. Chris Fella says, doggy, daily, weekly. Oh, God, you're not actually involved in this, are you? Chris Fella's actually had some pretty amazing requests in the past, but this would not be my favorite of them. Look, we've been bearish on this thing for a while. I'm still going to be bearish on it. Do I think that you have that much more downside? Probably not. I think at most you get down to like 6 or 5 cents. I mean, that is kind of a big move from where you're at right now. It's just Legos for adults. If you buy complete pieces, for sure. Yeah. I think worst case scenario to the downside, you get like 5 cents here. But it's like I said before on the shit coins. I think you're at the point now where you're kind of squeezing water from rocks. Like the easy calls were a month ago. I mean, I guess that is kind of a big move, though. If you come down from what 9 cents to 5 cents, that is actually a 40% move. So there's going to be bounces along the way. Am I generally bearish on it? Hell yeah. Do I think that you're going to go lower from here? At least a little bit. I'd think at least 7.5 cents, maybe all the way down to 5 cents. But it's up to you whether that risk is relevant for you or not. Where do you manage your risk if you take a position here? It's very difficult because you'd have to use the price action pivot, or at least that's the only logical place, in my opinion, at 11 cents. So that's a fucking big move from where you're at right now. That's potentially a big loss if you're wrong. So, other than that, man, I'm bearish. Just, I don't know, probably easier opportunities elsewhere, man. Yarbrook says, I have a few assembled, and a few factory rifles if you ever go. Yeah, man. You have to show us your AR inches. Yes, all inches will be shown, my man. All inches will be shown. That is exactly right, Maynock. That is exactly right. Josh says, yeah, this dog looking fucking ugly. Yeah, it is. It is an ugly dog. An ugly dog only its dog mom could love, man. It's very bad. Very bad indeed. Okay, cool. Let's get back to the super chats here. Mike McLaughlin, very Irish name, I think, or maybe Scottish. I'm not exactly sure. MP Materials. Sure, man. I feel like we've looked at this one before. It sounds familiar. Do I have any LARP lines on this one? Apparently. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. And I'd still be thinking about the same thing. I do think you have a downside move here, whether it comes down to like 55 or all the way down to 51. I don't know, but I'd be looking for a bounce around there. That's where I'd be looking for. I do think your next move is to the downside. In other words, it's not done just here. I'd only get super bearish on it if it came back down below the December low. But for now, I think it's just a range move to the downside and probably bounces, decently. Yeah, cool. All right, sweet. Freddie M says, quadruple U still bullish when breakout targets. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe it's not anymore. We can never know until we look at it. Overall, I mean, it's good. Yeah. Short term though, is it going to like make new highs? Well, actually short term is not bad either. Kind of have to be looking at this as a cup and handle if you want to be a pattern bro, as long as you're above $19.5. So I'd mark off this area right here. That'd be my bias buster. If it comes back down below 19.5, all right, sure. You get a range play all the way down to like 15 and a quarter. Long term, I still kind of like it actually, or maybe not so much around there actually. Actually around there, I would change around my opinion on this. But for right now, give it a chance because, the daily objectively is putting in a higher low and it's a pretty easy trade to manage. So what would I be looking for here? I don't know, a little bit of sideways and then an upside try. So yeah, I would say I am bullish as long as you're above last week's low. Below last week's low, I absolutely changed around my opinion, but until then, yeah, it's okay. It's just the long-term history kind of has me worried here. So there is that. Not sure what the hell went on over here, to be honest with you, man. All right. What else we got? Freddie M's back. He's looking at DNN, still bullish. This one I don't remember. Let's see. Denison Mine. No. Did we just look at this? Is it still bullish? We literally just looked at it. Yeah, we did just look at this. So I would say the same thing as what I just said like 5 or 10 minutes ago. Yeah. something like this, only bearish if you really start to lose, what was it? I mean, honestly, last week's low, and even then, bearish isn't the right term, just looking for a pullback. Below about 3.25, I would get bearish. But until then, give it a chance to consolidate here, because generally consolidation around the range highs, that's when you actually might see a real breakout. But give it a little bit of time. I think you got another test in that reach. I just don't think it has the juice to break just yet. And if it does break at some point, where would I be looking towards? I think you got a big move up to like $6.5 at least. Cool, man. Let's see. What's up, Tyler? Good to see you, man. Back in the USA. Oh, wait, sorry. I just skipped. Boggs McNobs. It's a good name. How do we feel about the chemical sector? Cyclical turn down, but maybe hitting a reversal. I'll just look at one of these, man. Or if you have like an ETF that follows these, that would be probably the best way to do it. But I don't know. This is the first one you said. I don't like it. I think it's pretty bad here. I think the reversal to the downside is real. This is a top for a very long time. While this current rally probably does go a little bit higher, maybe it goes all the way to like 64, $65. It's very possible. And shit, in a crazy scenario, it might even go to like 75. But overall, this is, in my opinion, very ugly long term. And this thing if we fast forward a couple of years from here, it's probably going to be lower than $40. But in the short term, this rally very likely moves higher. I think it actually does get to like 65, 70, and then turns down, something like that, man. Yeah, this is almost undoubtedly like a major high right here. That is ugly as fuck, dude. Look up safety from Hoffman Tactical. Super safety? Oh, the super safety. Yes, I've heard of this. I've heard of this FRT business. There's a guy at the range the other day. He had some fucking amazing guns. He had like a real proper MG, like a real belt-fed machine gun that was fully auto. I was talking to him. He was telling me that it cost him like, I don't know, 30 or 40,000 bucks, but worth every penny, worth every penny. And let me tell you, man, he loaded up about 100 rounds on that belt, and they fired off in, I don't know, 5 seconds, something like that. That's what it felt like. Puts a smile on your face, I'll tell you that. Back in the USA, time to get some cheese grits. Fuck yeah, man. Cheese is my kryptonite, but that's all you. Elsa's sister is here from Finland, and one of the things that she really wants to try while she's in America is mac and cheese. What do you even say to that? Sure, I guess. Joey Burton's looking at XRP. We kind of already looked at that one, so okay. You have a conditional question. So if Bitcoin were to bottom at 55 to 60,000 bucks, where would XRP bottom? I think you'd basically have the bottom in here at about 110 already. Maybe it moves down slightly more to like $1 even, but I would say something like this. Either the low's already in or like slightly lower to like 95 cents to $1. I don't think you're going much lower than that if Bitcoin's low is in above, let's say 55. Josh R, what's up, man? Thoughts on Kospi? This rally got more room to go, or still looking for short-term top here? I don't know. Don't think I've ever looked at this one. Is this a crypto shitcoin or no? It's a real. It's on KR. What is KRK? Is that where? What country is this from? Where the fuck are you from, man? Sounds. Oh, it's Korea. Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah, we got Koreans here. That's fucking sweet. Elsa and I really want to go to South Korea. It sounds amazing. I mean, obviously it's bullish as fuck, but this is a parabolic blow off top in the making. So are you trying to catch the last, move of this parabolic blow off top? It's a difficult game to play. Let's see what our indicators say here. Yeah, you're already getting extremes on monthly BBWP. Hey, blow it up, you motherfucker. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, you've been at extremes since September of last year. I think it still has new highs to go. This isn't a top just yet, but it's getting pretty close, man. It's getting pretty close. I don't know. Maybe it goes for the round even $6,000 number first, but I would really be on like a major reversal watch soon because this thing is getting tired. Again, I do think you have new highs here. It probably gets at least 56, maybe all the way to 6,000, but I'd be very cognizant that you're probably putting a major high there. We can draw a Fibonacci extension. I don't know if it's going to be that useful, but yeah, at least 5,400 on this move. I think you will get 6,000. From there, you're kind of in crazy land, so it's difficult, but I think you've seen the overwhelming majority of this current rally. like the overwhelming majority. So if you've been long, I would probably be looking for a top relatively soon, but not yet. This thing is still bullish here. It's still going to make new highs. Very likely. You got hidden bullish evidence on characters RSI, which has just been fucking money recently. Yeah, this thing wants to make new highs from here. In fact, you do have a short-term consolidation right here. So let's just see what these targets would look like. 5,900 to 6,000 is where I'd be looking for on this move. And maybe that is where the next top will be. I don't know, but I would be very cognizant that it's probably happening soon, man. Probably happening soon. When you get a Knights, you can tell people, let me show you my CAC. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. The fucking Knights, it's impossible to get. Okay. I went to gunbrokers.com. They have like a fucking 3x markup. They're trying to sell them for like $9,000. Look, I'm happy to pay for the best of the best of the best. But that's just a raping. I don't want to take, man. That's just a massive red dildo. That is unnecessary, uncalled for. RKGH says Wolf is their 4-hour bearish divergence. I don't know. Let's check it out. Terra Wolf, 4 hours specifically. Yes, there is bearish divergence. Caretakers RSI telling you that right here. Yeah, it probably comes back down, fills around that gap, maybe 1470, maybe as low as 1444, but somewhere, short term finds a higher low somewhere around there. Not necessarily bearish long term or anything like that, but yeah, probably a little bit more in that downside move. Will this retest the range lows at around 11 to 12 bucks? Do you think this breaks out to 23? No, I would be betting on upside first. Back down to 11 or 12 bucks would be a breakdown to me. In fact, anything below last week's low at 1174, I would call very bearish. This thing wants to move to the upside. Again, hidden bullish evidence here on the weekly RSI. The monthly, again, if you're going to look for rejection, I guess this is the place. But I personally have to be bullish as long as you're above last week's low. Because I will follow the trend. You got low volatility on this consolidation as you retest the range highs, hidden bullish evidence, weekly RSI back into the bullish controls. And I would be betting on this one breaking out from here if I had to bet on a direction. Weekly crown also is going to turn up as well. So yeah, fair enough. All right, what else we got? We got Brillo. He's looking at PayPal. Sure. PayPal. I remember this one looked pretty bad. Yeah, it's still looking pretty bad. Look, you're back down around like your IPO lows almost at 34, 35 bucks. So you probably get a pity bounce around there, but this is just bad. This is awful. This is not investable in my opinion. It's kind of similar to Bitcoin. It's like, you're not going to even find the low on this first dagger to the downside, even if it does bottom out, but this is just a terrible chart overall. I mean, this is very, very bad, like very fucking bad. We could make, oops. Let me flip that around. We could draw a Fibonacci extension for the breakdown on the monthly, which is happening. I think that this thing's going to get down to like 10 bucks, honestly. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, I actually do think so. You probably get a pity bounce at around the previous IPO lows at like 30 bucks, but yeah, this is bad. This is very bad. Oh God, $10 from $30. That's too much. That's really bad. That's like really bad. Hold on. Do I have this on log scale or something? No, I don't. Okay. That's surprising. Seems kind of like an egregious target, but okay, maybe I just thought, okay, maybe more like $15, maybe more like $15 or $14. Yeah. Do you have any videos for options tradings for noobs? Actually, I do have a playlist on YouTube. I am going to update that playlist. That's going to be my next project after I do the TA 101 free playlist, like the update for that. But keep in mind, that's going to take a long time, and the previous options playlist is still very much applicable. It's freely available on YouTube as well. So yeah, it's going to hold up. Like, all of those things are just fundamental stuff, and if you understand that, you're going to be in a pretty good position, honestly, when it comes to options. So yeah, I'd start there, man. Like I said, just going to look old, but the information is still, I would 100% stand by. That's basically what I've been doing on my options positions that I've been showing on YouTube here as well. Yes. Okay. Erin says says NIO daily, weekly. Okay. I don't know. Let's try this one out on Nicey. Overall pretty bad. Overall really bad, man. You might get a short-term rally here. You might not. I don't know. I don't think it matters. I think long-term, this thing just is going to be going down. If you're on a daily, yeah, I might try a little bit more on this rally. I think best case scenario on this rally gets to like $5.50, but even that's kind of like a big ask right now. Overall, this one wants to go more down, not necessarily reverse here. Like this, undoubtedly, like if we fast forward 2 years from now, this thing is probably much lower. or decently lower. Something like Mr. Dennis. It's been a long time, man. It's been a very long time. I mean, I've been saying, basically mid 50s to low 60s is kind of where I'm looking for on a bottom for Bitcoin. At least that's my first idea. If that fails, it fails. Like, look, I'll just go back to the drawing board. But in terms of long-term investments, that's where I'm putting some money to work. So can I go underwater there? Sure. But like I said, that's going to be a 5 to 10. For me, it's going to be like a 9-year position. But I'd say in general, unless if you're like 5 years out, then I don't know, you're kind of buying a falling knife at that point. So yeah, different perspectives, right? Beto Smurged, I appreciate that, man, but feel free to have a message as well if you wanted to request something. Stephen Schickman's back. He's looking at SMH, looking for it to top. Okay. Okay, you're asking for when this thing tops. SMH. Okay, SMH. All right, so this is like the obsession with buying straight down charts, trying to short straight up charts. At some point it will top. It's not right now though. This thing wants to go higher. I do agree that it is pretty tired here, but I think it goes on, kind of decently more. I think you might get like 460, 470 before this thing has a legitimate top. There's no bearish divergence that's relevant right now. The reason why I say that is because there's no local highs right here. This looks like continuation. Now, if it does come back down below last week's low, okay, now you have real bearish divergence and you might have a big move down to like 330, 350, whatever. But until then, man, no, I don't see anything of this thing wants to go up, man. This thing wants to go up and make new highs from here. Hidden bullish divergence on this. I'm telling you, these caretaker RSI signals recently have been fucking money. I'm looking for new highs on this thing. I think you go closer to 450, maybe even $500 before it's all said and done. So at some point, sure, yeah, it'll be there, but not right now, man. I wouldn't be standing in front of that train. Yesterday, I almost stood in front of a train. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Plonker says, on the Australian exchange, ticker all, please. Gotcha. Thank you for specifying the exchange because, yeah, it can get difficult. Okay, so it's Aristocrat Leisure. It's a cool name. It's very conservative name. Probably finding a low relatively soon, whether it's already in at $50 or whether it comes down to 49. I don't know, but I'd be looking for big bounces to emerge from these regions. I think you probably already do have the low in your next move is a bounce up to like 55, $56. You didn't give me any time frames to go off of, but yeah, I think your next move is a bounce on the short term. At least up to like 54, 55, maybe even all the way up to like 57. I'd give it a chance to trade sideways for a while after that. But yeah, long term, good history. Short term, bad. But I do think that you're coming into a technical area that makes a lot of sense for at least a big bounce attempt. I think you get, honestly, I do think that you get to the upper 50s on this bounce. I just don't think that you're going to be doing anything super significant to the upside nor to the downside in the short term. I think this is a range on the low type business here. PMC Dugald says CVNA. Okay, this is Carvana. Yeah. Bearish divergence on the monthly, 1, 2, 3 drives. So I'd be looking for this one to come down to about $300. I don't know how long it takes. Might take a couple months, but yeah, somewhere down around there. Again, low volatility, bearish divergence on Caretaker's RSI. I'm looking for a pullback now. That's a big one on a monthly. Scott Leister. Is it Scott Leister or Scott Leister? Been watching for years. Hell yeah, man. Never stop your autistic tangent rants. It is what it is, man. It comes with the territory. I can't control it, okay? I have a literal medical issue. Anyways, you are looking at CRCL. Okay, so this is Circle. I as well am interested in this, but not at these prices. This thing is going to make new lows, man. Okay, I shouldn't say is going to, but it's very likely that it will make new lows. Blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. I don't think that the lows are in, just like I don't think Gemini's lows are in. But both of these things I am looking at over the long term to potentially get a position. I think that this thing is coming down to like 35, 37 region at least. Again, it might take another month or two, but yeah, this is very bad right now. This is very bad. This thing is going down for a while. So while I am interested in the long term, definitely not at these prices. This thing might come down like another fucking 30 to 50% before it becomes investable, honestly. Like, it is not at a low yet. This is very bad to have a rally like this to start off and then come back down below the IPO low. That is a very, very bearish signal. It's going to be living below that IPO low at like $66 for a long time. I mean, there's nothing at all bullish about this thing to begin with. This is fucking garbage chart. Similar to Gemini, it's the exact same thing here. These things are going much lower. Now, am I interested in Gemini at like $3? Yeah, but that's also $3, right? For Circle, what would be my similar sort of target, I guess? I'm looking for a low to emerge first before I talk about that. But personally, I think that you will come down to what? You're going to come down to, let me just eyeball a target here, 90 versus 70. So I would say, I don't know, 40-ish, somewhere around there, give or take, would be my area of interest for potentially a next major low. Lister, like sister, got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. I think that this one was generally coming down. I'm on the same page as you, though. I think that long term, there's probably a lot to like about this as a stock, but or as a long-term hold. But even when it hits the bottom, right? Like, let's say it comes down to fucking $30 today, it's gonna do one of these and then try, and that might take like a year or two. Like, it's gonna be a while, I think. BDOM surge, take two pan W. Okay, wait, what? Is this the ticker or pan W? Okay, I'm guessing it's this. I don't know if it is, though. He said take two, so I'm thinking that's the actual name of the company. I do think this thing is actually topping out here. Long term, I think this thing is topping out here. You got bearish evidence on the quarterly. Monthly has multiple drives, 1, 2, 3. I think it's going to be generally something like this, man. Hanging out on the lows and should get another big bounce off of like 140. So yeah, Gemini needs to upgrade their apps UI. Hood app is like walking into a casino. Arcade Gemini feels like Craigslist. Yeah, they really need to work on their presentation. Same thing with like Kraken as well. It's just not great, man. Sequoia is looking at Kratos. Yeah, Kratos, full disclosure, I do own this one. I have sold off of a lot of this one as well. This one's come down now to $86, $87. It's reconnected with the monthly 5 EMA. So if you're bullish on it still, which, I'm still holding a little bit. So, again, full disclosure, I do hold this one. Have to be looking for this as the low at 84.5. That also means if the monthly closes below there, I flip around and I actually become... maybe bearish isn't the right term, but I'm not looking for upside anymore. I'm looking for downside, probably another like 30% move to the downside, something like that. But for right now, this is kind of the lowest place you'd be expecting on a higher low for the weekly if this thing's going to continue to be bullish. If it fails here, I think you're coming down much, much further. Much, much further. So there's that. But yeah, quarterly kind of ugly, but we still got another month and a half, so it's a little bit too early to judge that one, I guess. Let's go check out, what's up, Gallo? Been a long time, man. Holy shit. Just a moment, man. I want to look at the bi-monthly. Yeah, look, if it finishes this month of February out above 96.5, I would be very happy to be very fucking bullish on this thing up to like 150, 160, 170, whatever. But it really is contingent upon its ability to hold above $85 right now. That is a big fucking line in the sand. Gallo says, hello, sir. Best moment to get a hair transplant, like best moment, was yesterday, sir. The market is going to leave me bald. You recommend to do it in or outside the... I actually got mine done in Finland. It probably wasn't the most cost efficient way, but I think when it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to surgeries and whatnot, I think it is important to go to like countries that have strong medical systems. I know a lot of people like to go to Turkey. You hear all sorts of horror stories. And let me tell you, as someone who's done a hair transplant multiple times now, shit can go wrong, and you don't want to be on a fucking plane like the next day or 2 or 3, or even like a week out, like, countries away from where you got your procedure, because you may need to go back, and there can definitely be complications. So I would suggest doing it, maybe do it in the US, maybe do it, maybe Mexico is actually okay, honestly, but if you want to save a few bucks, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry, because really, yeah, definitely do your research, because not every fucking hair transplant doctor is the same. Like, there are good ones and there are bad ones for sure. They can fuck it up massively to where they implant, let's say, like 10,000 follicles and you lose like half that. I mean, it can be very bad like that. So it really does matter, in my opinion. So yeah, we looked at Lunar a little bit earlier, Big Boy George, maybe like 5-10 minutes ago. Great White Hype says tether dominance, more upside buy since moving above 811. I think we already hit like the 875 targets, so I'm not so confident about that in the short term. It definitely wants to try some upside here. I think it does get back to like 8.5%. Do I think it's going to break out to like new highs above the 2023 highs? Not on this current move. I do think longer term it will. I do think longer term it will, just because that has been the trend. But on this current move, I expect it to consolidate for a few months around like the upper 8% regions and then try the move. So it's like, yeah, I agree with that. Just it probably gets drawn out for a while, man. Yeah. I mean, there is one thing that is absolutely certain about this. It is bullish as fuck as long as you're above 7%. There is no fucking doubt about that. It's just the timing of it, probably consolidates here for a while. John Deuce says, please share your BBWP settings as my chart is different. So I run a couple different ones, but the ones that you're probably referring to are these. So this is optimized for more like, I guess, shorter term analysis, if you will, like shorter term moves. I have a basis type of a simple moving average. You could also use an EMA. I mean, in fact, an EMA is honestly probably a little bit better. It's not going to make a tremendous difference, Seriously, like the reads right here are nearly identical. But the length, I like a 7. And then the look back, I like 100. So you're just comparing to the past 100 bars. So it works really, really well on higher term timeframes, especially when you're trying to like judge, the likelihood of a move. That's been super, super useful. This market seriously does rob us of our hair. Yeah, it's like that meme, the meme with that old guy who's like, I'm fine, I'm 20, and he looks like he's fucking 80. All right, Gallo's back. He's looking at NTDOY. NTDOY, got it. Oh, Nintendo, cool. Yeah, fuck yeah, we love Nintendo, but maybe not as a stock. Actually, I mean, look, like if you want to be bullish on Nintendo long term, this isn't the worst place to look for on a higher low at $13.50. Could be some problems here long term for sure, but I'd actually treat that 13.5 low as a chance to be a real macro higher low. You're on the weekly 200 simple, you're on the monthly group 55 and the quarterly 21, all of these things are pretty strong. So you should at least get a big bounce here over the next few weeks, maybe next month or whatever. And long term, I mean, this is a good place where it's been putting in higher lows since about 2016. So for the past 10 years, you've been getting all of your higher lows around that green 55. Yeah, it's deviated a little bit from it, a couple times right here. But again, in thinking in terms of value, if you are long term, I don't hate it. I see the, I see the setup here. I see the position. I can only really get like super bearish on this thing if you come back down below $12. Until then, I'm just kind of generally bullish long term. Short term, I think that you probably found a low. Maybe it swipes a little bit lower. That's okay. But overall, I think if you start to go sideways here for the next month or two, that would be a really good signal in my opinion. Zonker says, what do you think about STRC as a dividend stock at 11% for CF during a bear market? I understand it. I don't. Personally, I do not hold STRC. I like STRF because it's just a straight preferred dividend stock at 10%. I would prefer that just because I know many people think, and perhaps it is even mathematically true, that Sailor cannot get liquidated, until XYZ happens, which probably is true, but I personally feel better about having my money in there if I'm looking for that dividend play that is more consistent and a little bit more protected in the event of a liquidation. The preferred stock will get paid out first, so STRF will get paid out first. Now, to be fair, STRC has been holding its value better compared to STRF for sure. So if you're thinking in terms of capital appreciation or capital, loss, maybe STRC makes more sense, because it's going to keep your capital a little bit more stable. I think. Let's go check it out just to make sure. Maybe I might be talking out of my ass right now. Yeah, it's pretty steady here at about $100 or $99. So maybe lose a percentage or here, maybe gain a percentage here or there. But ultimately, it's pretty steady compared to something like STRF, which is not. This thing's been coming down. So, yeah. But here's the thing, and I will explain to you how I play these ones as dividend stocks. So for the most part, will keep the money that I intend to put into something like this or STRC. I will keep that actually in the money market account. And then the day before the dividend gets, the day before the dividend date, I will buy the stock. And then the day after the dividend date, I will sell the stock. So that way you're getting the dividend plus you're getting the money market, which is another like 3.5%. It's marginal stuff, obviously, but if you want to maximize this sort of shit, I guess that would be the better way to do it. Yeah, fair enough. LEU daily and weekly for Vader, looking to get out after bad earnings. Okay, well, let's see. You might get lucky with a bounce back up to like 240 or 250, but I agree with you. This thing is topping out here. It wants to come down to like $100 if we fast forward a couple of years from now. So yeah, it's like how cute do you want to get on a bounce? Might go up a little bit, but long term, the direction is very much your friend here to the downside. I think this thing is going to have a big fucking meltdown, in the next year or two. But yeah. Mr. Orc Crown. Hello, sir. Ooga booga. What's your take on the Australian resource market? It's MVR. Okay. All right. Bullish, obviously. Yeah, bullish. Just bullish, man. Bullish, breaking out to new highs. You're probably going to get a pullback at some point, but for now, this thing is, again, it's that same fucking caretaker RSI signal. Hidden bullish divergence on a higher low. I think you're going to retest these highs and move past 50. I think that this thing's continuing, man. This thing is bullish. It's bullish and bullish and bullish until it's not. Love you as well, Mr. Gallo. See you next time, man. Have you looked at BNB? No, we actually haven't really been looking at too many crypto shitcoins, but I don't know. Let's see. BNB, I think you probably try for a bottom at around 530-ish, somewhere between 500 to 550. So I don't know, 525. Seems like a good number. Yeah, somewhere around the weekly chart is simple. I think that's where your value is on this one. Like just before the payment. No, you have to get in before the record date so that you get the dividend and then you get out the next day. Yeah. There you go. Gold versus SPY. Okay, we can look at that. Let's see. Probably more interesting to see the other way around. Yeah, so obviously gold has been killing SPY. But if you're looking for a reversal point or possible reversal, here's kind of a good area. And I'll explain why. I mean, shit, man. On the quarterly RSI, it's already higher than the highs of fucking 08. Like, that's pretty crazy. So, just like the highs in 08 or over here in 94 or over here in, 88, 87, it's probably going to take, many bars. And this is a quarterly time frame, so that could be like a year. But I do think that this is a toppy area here, more or less. I actually do think that this is a toppy area. So, yeah. XRP, we've already looked at it a couple times. No, should we call it a day? We good for the day? One moment. You take another sip of this. Let's see. Mr. USC wants to look at XOM. Yeah, okay. Exxon's another oil one. Really good. It's kind of similar to Chevron. Oils are doing pretty well, actually. Look, it's a break into new highs. I mean, I don't know when I charted this thing last, but you're at the first target. I guess the second target would be like 170. Something like that, man. Cloud Debussy says TK on Nicey. Okay. All right. TK. Tough one here. I think that you might extend this rally a little bit more towards 12.5 bucks. Yeah. 12.5, 12.40, somewhere around there, but I'd be looking for a top there, honestly. Or around there. You may be missing a 20-inch if I heard correctly. Yeah, I am missing an 18 and a 20-inch, but those are, from what I understand, those are more like muskets. So probably not going to get one of those, man. All good, Manticore. All good, man. Great White Hype's looking at MicroStrategy. Okay. Let's see. Last I looked at this one, it looks like it's trying for a low. It's really weak on these lows. There's no doubt about that. But I still think that this thing is putting in a low here, honestly. If you're on a daily, short term, it wants some downside. If you're on a 4-hour time frame, short term, it wants some down. Hidden bearish divergence on the 4-hour and the daily. So I think you retest around these lows. I don't know how much lower you're actually going to go, though. But yeah, that is there. So short term, probably retest around those lows, man. Yeah, other than that, I don't know, man. I think MicroStrategy's been beat up enough to put in like something resembling a low here. Yeah, I don't think it's going much lower, to be honest with you, man. If you're getting an 18 to 20 inch, get an AR10. Are AR10s better for longer range? Is that the idea? What about Cardan Yo? Has it bottomed? Oh, God. Sounding it out. I see you. Cardarpio. Yes, the old Derpios. Pretty bad. This one's already around its 2023 lows. I think that was our technical target from like literally fucking 5 months ago. Sometimes it takes some times, but it does happen. I don't know. Probably is going to bounce from here. You know, you got a pity bounce when you come down to lows like that typically. Silver versus alt. That sounds completely irrelevant. Let's just look at silver versus the dollar. Silver versus alt. I don't think anyone's looking at that, man. Silver, I think, has a rally here, actually. Hold on. Tough one. It's like gold. You know, I think gold and silver can rally up a little bit past last week's high. I really wanted to see silver get up to like 95 on that rally, so maybe it does. Still, it's a hard one here for me because it's like I do think it's topped out, but at the same time, I wanted to see that bull trap get a little bit higher than 92. I wanted to see it more like 95 to 100. And seeing as it hasn't gotten there yet, I'm pretty defensive that it will try a little bit higher first, similar to gold. Similar to gold. Great White Hype's looking at hood. Sure, man. Going back to the hoods. Pretty bad. Really bad. Really fucking bad. But even though it is really fucking bad, I do think that you are going to bounce here. Yeah. This is a good area for like a short-term bounce, maybe a bounce back up to like 85 or something. But long-term, I think that the damage is done. Just short-term, I think that you got to bounce. And then, I don't know, do you come lower after that to like 65? Probably yes. But kind of a hard one. Yearly, if the yearly really wants to, dump down, I guess 55 is the target. But that should be a low. So whether it's put in a low here, whether it comes down to like 55 to 60, I don't know. There's a lot of good reasons to think it's going to bounce where it's at right now, but it's not necessarily a confirmed, macro low. Maybe it comes a little bit lower like this. That's where I'd be thinking, okay, if I am long-term bullish, that is where I have to be looking for a macro low. Yes, 308 is more traditional, but 6.5 centimeters for long range cheat code. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. It's 3. No, I only want 5.56, man. I'm a simple person. I shoot 5.56. That's all. I don't even want the fucking 9mm anymore. Fuck you and your 9mm. I don't like it. 5.56, good. Anything else bad? Or the AK cartridge, because I do have an AK as well. It's like a 7.64 or whatever. It feels much bigger. I will tell you that. Like it. You can tell the difference between the mindset of the Russians and the Americans. The Russians, they're like, we just want a gun that's going to work no matter what the conditions are. And if it might not be that accurate, but if it touches you, your arm is fucking coming off. The Americans, however, are more like precise. It's like precise, but the guns need a little bit more. They need a little more love and care. They need the oil. As I heard this one YouTuber say this. It stuck with me for so long because it's such a beautiful statement. He's like, in the military, they told us your rifle is like your girlfriend. She's happiest when she's wet. So lube up your rifles, baby. I'm like, all right, I'll remember that. So there you have it. If for the non-Americans out there, I know that that's a very disgusting statement, but yes, we need to keep our rifles nice and wet, nice and lubed up. Lube it up, baby. Fucking lube it up. Yes. Now, where was I? Yes. Rigetti for Kappa loves food. Yeah. RGTI. Whoops. Okay. The redactedness continues as I can no longer type simple letters. I think you got a bounce here. Yeah. Should be a bounce, and actually should even put in some hidden bullish evidence between this low from March and this low, which I think will bounce here. But is it going to bounce back up to like 25, 30 bucks? Maybe. I don't know. Fuck. This is a hard one. I have to say I don't know on this one. Short term, it is bearish. Short term, it does want to come down more. I think I'm going to be wrong in that. Yeah, I think that this one has more downside, but I do not feel confident on this one. I think a healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer on this one. Yarbrook says 762. That's it. I have a PWS MK107 Diablo and X39. It's a flamethrower and range clear. Yeah. God, but guns are just the best, man. I feel bad for any non-Americans who just can't go into the store and buy guns. Like, God, that must suck. That must really suck. Piss off the Europeans right now. I mean, God, first off, they don't have Costco, and second off, they can't buy guns. Like, Jesus Christ. No wonder they're living under the thumb of their authoritarian but very compassionate and very safety-oriented EU government. And no trucks there. No big-ass fucking trucks. Jesus, man. How do you live? Look, I'm joking for the Europors out there in the world, but I'm also not joking. I mean, seriously, like, it's better. Like, seriously, try it. Come over to the States. Buy some fucking guns. Instantly, when you buy a gun, your penis grows another 3 inches. I don't make the rules, okay? You buy 10 guns, you got 30-inch dick. It's amazing. You have to tie it around your waist. Incredible. What platform do you recommend for trading options for Bitcoin? So I've been doing it on more traditional market platforms recently. Interactive Brokers has been good. You know, if you can trade Bitcoin futures options there. If you want to trade something that's like crypto native, I guess probably, well, actually Bybit has crypto options and they're somewhat liquid. Maybe Deribit is still the biggest game in town, but they're the other side of their exchange, the futures, is just non-existent. Like, no one trades there. So I think Bybit's a little bit safer, personally. But yeah. Punani Muffin. Nice name. Let's see. Backed. BKKT. What's up, Asti? Yeah. Solana, not even at the bottom side of the range. I think it might have broken it. We can go check it out soon after this, though. Very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. If you're on the daily, it's bad. If you're on the monthly, it's even worse. I think that this thing's coming back down to these $6 lows. If we fast forward another like half year, it's never known what an uptrend is. On the last lower high, you got hidden bearish evidence. I mean, it's just fucking textbook. This thing wants to come down. It's very bad. Very, very bad. You will get your bounces along the way, I'm sure, but I wouldn't get sucked up into those because this thing wants lower, I think. Wants lower. You can buy guns in the EU, at least in Poland. Poland is a little bit more based than the pussified, wussified Western European countries that have been taken over by forces that should not be named. Anyways, Assie's looking at Solana. Yeah, let's look at Solana really quick. Has it actually broken below the range? I think it has broken below the range lows. I do not look at this as a range play. I think that this thing is on its way down to significantly lower. Again, if we fast forward, half a year to a year from now, I think that this thing is maybe 30 to 50% lower. It's pretty bad. Here's your quarterly. The quarterly seems to me to be a real breakdown in the making. Yeah, technically you want to wait until it actually closes below 90 bucks, but it's ugly. It's very ugly. Where would I say that I'm wrong and this thing is actually bullish and recovering and having some sort of a heroic reclaim? That would have to be the price action pivot at 128. Until then, I think it's better to just be bearish on this thing. We're not allowed to travel outside the country in Europe. Wait, what? Really? No, that can't be true. It's not that bad there. Come on. Is your truck a 1500 series or a 2500 series? I don't know if I should answer that question, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm giving away my fucking license plate. It's 1500 pound. Smaller. I don't have a use for the 2500, although I will admit it looks very cool. Okay. Much respect to the people who got 2500s or even bigger. Those are fucking badass. But no, mine is a smaller one. I don't actually need a truck for like, work, right? I need a truck to feel cool and to feel relevant. That's why I need it. And to put my Costco purchases when we go to Club Costco. Very nice. GameStop Weekly, the CEO trying to get to 100 billion market cap. Maybe he should focus on just making a better business. That's like, imagine your fucking company says that. It's like, we want to get to this certain market cap. It's like, okay, anything about like the business you're going to do? Have you thought about like, I don't know, innovating in some way? Have you thought about creating a better product perhaps? No, we're well past that. I'm bearish on this, man. I'm looking at this as another lower high here. If I'm going to be wrong on this one, I'm going to be disastrously wrong, I should say, because if it does pop back above 28 bucks, which is not that far away, to be fair, this thing will confirm a reversal. But for right now, I would treat it as bearish as long as you're below there. And I think that this is your next lower high, because as soon as this thing puts in and confirms a local high, it will be hidden bearish divergence between this high from September and this high right here. And I'm just, I'm just more likely to err on the side of bearish and something like that. It's a fucking meme stock, right? But like I said, if I'm wrong, I will be disastrously wrong. And you will know that I'm wrong because it pops back up above 28 bucks. And at that point, you're probably looking at this thing putting in a screaming move past 40. It would be pretty good. Let's see. Excuse me. Devald says, Intel. Yeah, full disclosure, I do own this one. I've owned this one for many years now. It's doing exactly what we said over the past few months. You retested this previous high from 2023. I expect this one to pull back from here for a while, but I'm not bearish on it. I just think that you pull back, consolidate a little bit lower, and then break through. Maybe that's later this year. Maybe that's next year. I don't know. But, this thing could easily correct down to like 42, 43 bucks first, and then try your upside move. So I don't think you're going to break out to the upside from exactly here. At some point, you will, but that's probably further in the future. In the short term, I think that you do come down and consolidate lower. So yeah. And again, I do own this one. Ripper Dips, great name, by the way. Love the content. Haven't missed a video since 2018 when you did Crypto Zombie. Yeah, man. Fucking, I miss that guy. I love K-Dub. He is, whenever you talk to that guy, he's the greatest. He's so much fucking fun. MG is looking at, Zonkert says, Costco is the best. Follow Bobby Parrish. He goes all over the healthy and clean options. I know. We have the Bobby approved app. He is great. We even got my fucking mom on it, who only eats like chips, but now she's found Bobby approved chips. My mom eats carrots and chips and then a fucking disgusting ass veggie burger. That's what she eats. But yes, that's what I'm saying. It's better because now she's gotten Bobby approved shitty options, which are much better than the alternative. So hey, at least it's working in that regard. Got to give it to Bobby, man. He is among the greatest of all times. Anyways, MG is looking at RCAT. Again, full disclosure, I do own this one as well. I did offload a little bit of this one in the $15, $16 region, but I'm still looking for these LARP lines to play out. It's the same thing as before. I think that you're trying to put in a load around 11 bucks. If you really start to come down below 11 on like a weekly closing basis, then I'd get bearish. But until then, I think that this is your next higher low, or at least that's how I'm playing it. But like I said, below $11 or basically below last week's low in a weekly closure, I will capitulate on the rest of my position there and sell. Yeah, K-Dub's been kind of done with YouTube for a while. I think, he's just on to the next part of his life. All good, man. Wish him well. And I truly do. I mean, I fucking love that guy. He's great. Yeah, the new tallow chips. Yeah, there are some good chips. I will say the sweet potato chips, they're fucking good, man. Like if you're going to have a fucking potato chip, sweet potato chips, really good. And only three ingredients. Really amazing, actually. Just sweet potatoes, avocado oil, and salt. Like couldn't get any better than that. All right. Mr. Escobar is looking at IGV. Okay. I think we'll end it after this. Yeah, I just did it. I think we'll end it on this one. Look, you're coming off the weekly 200 simple, probably going to get a pity bounce here. Also the monthly 55 EMA. So I think you're done going to the downside for now. And the next move is a bounce up, and you create a range between about, let's call it $80 on the lower end to about $95 on the upper end. Going to bounce around there for the next couple months, I'd imagine. But I think that you do have a low end. Monthly on the 21 EMA after playing out the bearish divergence, classic stuff there. So give it a chance to bounce. I think you found the low for now. All right. Hey, what's up, Grandpa? Good morning to you, man. It's been a while. All right, last one for Capo Loves Food. Last one, we'll do shop. People love their Shopifys. Down. Bearish divergence on the quarterly. I think that you come down to that same target. 99, low 90s, basically. Low 90s. And try for a bounce there. Quick look at hype. God. We did actually look at it earlier, man. I'll spoil the surprise for you. I am bearish on this. I think that this thing is coming down unless it's massively changed in the last 30 minutes, but let's see. Maybe it has. It's always possible. Where do we go for this great technology here? Still bearish as fuck, man. Yeah. I think last week you saw the high in this thing. All right, cool. It's been a beautiful, nice Wednesday morning, hanging out with my fellow crypto autists. I wish you well on this nice little Wednesday morning. We'll be back on tomorrow with another regular video and then another live stream on Friday. Like I said, these live streams have been fun as fuck recently. Really been enjoying these, even though, it is kind of a quieter time, but I don't know. I feel like that's the best time, to do community type stuff and keeps me engaged. And yeah. Hey, what's up, Bear Nutrition? Good morning to you as well, man. And part shrimp as well. Yeah, we'll end it on that note. Okay, last, literally last one for Daryl K. All right, snuck in there like a crazy person. AAOI, breakout confirmed about $44. Yeah, it's your no. The important high to reclaim here would be this high. I guess I charted this one out before, but that's 50 and 30 cents. I think that you will break through there. I don't really see any indication why this thing's struggling or that is struggling. I think that you will break through there. It just might take some time. But, the weekly RSI is in a position where it actually might break out on this current move. It's very possible. I'd only be bearish on it below about, $34, $35 until then, or even last week's low at 37. Until then, I think that this thing's in a position to break out, man. It's actually okay. Anyways, yeah, we'll end it on that note. As always, I want to wish everyone the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully